Welcome to Marketing Talks by OSB, where I meet stellar guests to discuss marketing hot topics, advertising strategies, branding trends, and so much more. I am Jessie, your host, and let's dive in today with our guest, Natalie Maljian Salemeh.
Hi, Jessie.
Hello, how are you today?
Good, thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I would like to say that not just you are a marketing and digital consultant, but you are also our AUB alumna.
True.
And I'm so happy because it's like now you're home, right?
Exactly,
Yeah?
exactly.
And today you're here because we're going to discuss generational marketing.
Correct.
For those who don't know, basically they think marketing is just, it has to be targeted to a specific age. But let's start first with discussing generation and generational marketing. And then we discuss further the challenges and what are the evolution, right?
Sure.
Yes?
Right. Jessie, it's a very good question because for me, generational marketing is the base of the conversations that we have whenever we're putting marketing strategies.
Yeah.
So basically, as we all know, generational marketing, they're split into different generations, from generation X to Millennials to Gen Z, and recently the generation Alpha.
Yes.
So basically, whenever we're talking about generational marketing, we're talking about specifically the age segmentation.
Yes.
And how we have to think whenever we're going to target them.
Yeah.
However, throughout the years, this has been really evolved due to the technology and the digital transformation that we have observed. And it isn't only affecting the marketing industry. However, in everything that we're doing in all the industries, not only in marketing.
Yes.
So it is very important to talk about it. However, now we will deep dive more into the examples and how we are being able to put the strategies to target them.
100%. So when you say it evolved because of technology, are you referring to social media?
I'm specifically talking not only the social media, about everything the digital transformation has really offered us in the real world. Like especially after COVID, also we can say that really we were transformed into another, let's say, a habit of media consumption, another adopting different values, which can be even common within different generations.
Yes.
So yes, that's it.
Speaking of habits, can you tell us a little bit, for example, which generation uses a specific platform or overuse a specific platform?
Exactly. I'm going to tell you something, given on the daily examples that I have with my clients.
Yes.
So basically, whenever, let's say, a client approaches me, the first thing that they tell me is that I don't know how this works. I don't know how I'm going to target. I want to target everyone.
Yes.
Okay, regardless if they're selling a food product or a luxury product, you know, because at the end, everyone wants to sell.
Yeah.
And they always tell me, and I don't understand TikTok. This is what they always tell me. This is the common sentence that I always hear.
Yeah.
And that's mainly because, Jessie, first, specifically in Lebanon, we are more focused on businesses that are small and medium enterprises, right?
Yes.
And the big corporations today, they have the access of a pool of data, and they can do their own market research. They have their own marketing team. So the conversation with international clients and big corporations is completely different whenever we're talking to them and sitting and putting the strategies with them versus the small and medium enterprises.
Yes.
So answering to your question,
yeah.
Yes, the media mix has changed and the consumption throughout all the generation. However, the most important thing that clients should know is that they can preserve the same media mix. However, they should be relative in their content whenever they're communicating. And this is where brands and clients, usually they fall into the trap. And this is where, for me, it's one of the biggest, if you want, challenges that brands are facing these days, is that they are not being able to keep their brand consistency and being true to themselves.
Yeah.
And this is leading to ineffective marketing strategies.
Listen, and now we have the generation Alpha coming up.
Correct.
Do you think companies now should adapt their strategies, or they should adapt anything they're doing
I'm
to this
sure
generation?
Exactly. I'm sure that they're going to adapt. And there was like a seminar that I attended recently in the States And it was very interesting because there were many leaders in the marketing industry in big corporations that they were driving this conversation. Of course, they're going to adapt. We're going into more the spatial computing, which is, if you want, the mix between the physical and the digital presence. Still, even big corporations, they don't know how to drive their products and their brands still to the next stage, because the digital transformation and evolution is going too fast. So they still need to go and train their employees internally to understand exactly the habits, specifically with the Generation Alpha. But of course, it's gonna change, it's gonna adapt.
You were telling me about Lego. They did something regarding this?
Yes, example, there is the Lego hidden side. It's called the hidden side. So basically, it's just a regular Lego that you buy. And then now they introduce a certain app that you download. So whenever you open the app and you put it on the Lego itself, it will give you an augmented reality fee, the augmented reality, and the kids, they can start playing with it. So imagine
so
this
without the physical toy.
No, it is the physical toy, and then you download the app. When the app, you put it in front of the physical toy, it will give you the augmented reality version, and you can start playing the game on the app.
So it's like they're helping them how to construct a specific model?
After you construct, so basically they are introducing characters, the virtual characters, and you're playing game on this, let's say, not the physical world, the digital world. So this is based of the need of different kind of experiences that Generation Z, and the millennials that they had. So this is where the adaptation of the brands and products are coming into play.
Yeah, so let's say a company or a brand today, they are targeting Gen X, but they're going to have to keep in mind that one day this generation is going to grow and they're going to become one day baby boomers.
Exactly.
So is there, I think it's challenging, no?
It's very challenging, and I don't think that a lot of brands will be actually successful in doing this transition. One of the examples, I don't know if people are familiar with it, but JCPenney, it's a very big retail brand in the States.
Yes.
And they have failed to do this transition because they were being very relatable to the Generation X.
Yes.
However, when they started, the millennials came, and then the Generation Z, they couldn't anymore be relatable to them. So it affected a lot. They're still there. It doesn't mean they're going to go bankrupt. However, they're not being effective in their marketing strategy, hence the sales. So it's all, you know, it's like a cycle.
And this will limit the company to grow.
Exactly. But another a lot of successful brands like Netflix, for example, because there was the need of on-demand.
Yeah.
So Netflix came in. They started putting all the shows, like the binge watching, and then they started giving you recommendation based on your exactly. So they, with the millennials, they went into the Gen Z, giving them the appropriate recommendation and appropriate content for them.
Yes.
This is where the reality shows they went into place. Hence, this is why it's one of the leading streaming platforms, Netflix. So we have successful and unsuccessful brands.
Yes. And what about AI and personalization? How does it help or make it even more difficult in terms of generational marketing?
AI actually, for marketers, it helps a lot because you will have more accurate information and the data about the people you are trying to target and reach. And this is where, if you want, we can come into the way of thinking, whether it was the client side or the people involved in the marketing, of thinking, are we really going to think only about the generational marketing, or this is where we become more specific, right? So this is where we become more focused on the interest, because today Jessie can be a millennial. However, maybe she has the media consumption of a Gen Z, or maybe in the future of the Gen Alpha. So 100%. This is where, exactly, so this is where actually AI and all of this information help marketers to be more evolved in the way they are thinking. And one of the examples that now we use is the programmatic buying, for example. It's real-time bidding, real-time serving of ads that we didn't have before and the previous generations.
So So we have a debate here.
Yeah.
I agree 100% with what you're saying. So if we're going to say this, then can we say generational marketing will no longer exist? Since you're mentioning that brands should focus on interest, they're more focused on psychographics, not just age.
True.
Like you said, I might use TikTok, for example, or I might use a specific number of hours, just like an 18-year-old on social media.
Exactly.
So here, can we say generational marketing doesn't really need to be considered anymore?
For me, it's actually my personal opinion is that
sure.
For generational marketing, I think is the base of all conversation, and
Okay.
you can see these kind of conversations specifically when we're talking to the different generational cohorts are for example, the terminologies like millennials, Gen Alpha, Gen X in big corporations. Let's say when we're talking with Unilever, P&G, L'Oreal, they go, into segmenting them by age and all of that, and going into the interest. So it will be more of a blurred line, but not completely. We are going further away from the stereotype, if you want.
Yes.
Okay, but it's not like we are completely eliminating the generations.
No, not eliminating, but can we say it's an outdated strategy?
We can say that.
Yeah?
Because even like whenever I'm putting strategies, what I focus on are not age. Of course, age is part of it. However, the passion points, if you want, whether it was travel, for example, like Booking.com, when it was created, the platform, it's a travel.
100%.
So regardless if you're a millennial, Gen Alpha, 100%. Gen X, baby, whatever.
Yes.
So you are using this platform because you have a certain interest.
Correct.
So this is where, if you want, yes, it will be maybe at a certain point obsolete. Maybe the conversation will be different in few years.
I totally agree. And I would like to ask you also about the influencer marketing. Is it equally effective across all generations?
I think it is, if we take as terminology of influencer marketing, which was, if you want, not mushroomed, but it was really out there. Due to the social media, before we had the traditional offline media, which was TV, the celebrities and all of that. Exactly. Yes, it is very effective throughout all the generations. However, it's a bit different in the sense that, for example, if Generation X, they're focusing more, let's say, on maybe authenticity or a certain review of whether it was an influencer they follow on social media or on YouTube, to the millennials who are more, if you want, affected by the environment that they are in. One of the examples is Karen Wazen, Joël Madignan, all these people who are really people like us who have their own businesses. However, they have a certain number of followers that is very high, maybe 1 million, 2 million.
They built a community.
They built a community, exactly. And with time, with Generation Z and Generation Alpha, we are seeing more, if you want, now whenever we're doing marketing for brands, we're talking about the nano influencers, the micro influencers, which not necessarily they have high number of followers, however, high engagement on their page. What tells you is that people are looking more into credible, authentic brands, authentic reviews, and this is what it's affecting them in choosing a certain brand, because with time, brand loyalty is decreasing.
Is
decreasing?
Decreasing?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Because the generations before, they used to, see a certain campaign, it was creating a certain perception. Okay, they used to believe this brand. Now everything is changing. So brands should really focus on the consistency. This is where I really focus on the brand being true to itself, so that they can really live throughout all the generations.
So, but we know that Karen Wazen, most of her followers are Gen Zs, no? Is it a fact, or? I've heard that.
Basically because she's she's a millennial, maybe, or Gen Z. But yes, the way she's portraying all the content and even the product, the sunglasses and all of that she has, it doesn't mean I'm a millennial and I follow Karen Wazen. So this is where again we go into the interest part, not the age part. So what are you interested? Do you find her credible or not? So
I follow her as well. But listen, I think here social media will help us a lot as marketers or the industry, because they can tell you now, they can track for you the interest
True.
of the followers, not just the age and the location
Exactly.
and the gender. So they can tell you, and even now when you're posting, let's say they give you some categories, and
True.
you can choose up to 3
Exactly.
interests, and this will help the algorithm even know further what are the interests of people and connect them with brands to have a good targeting.
And not only
ads.
interest, even the behavioral targeting. If you go into the Google platform, let's say, they really will know which websites you were browsing, not only, you know, like, and how you went, and you go back into the retargeting. So really imagine what with time, in a short time, the data that you will be able to get. It's amazing. For us, for marketers, it's amazing.
100%.
But people, if you ask the people, they sometimes see the invasion of privacy and all of that.
Yes, true.
But I'm talking about the marketing point of view.
100%. And the more you analyze, the more you know, the more
Exactly.
you will target effectively.
This is where really, like, brands now, they don't have anymore the option to tell us we don't know what to do. The information is out there.
100%.
You can really track it. You can really make your brand go even further, you know, not just being local in your market.
Listen, and since you're a digital expert as well, can you tell us maybe which platform is more effective regarding which generation? For example, Gen X, are there out there, for example, on Instagram or?
Yeah. Based on my experience, what I see is that, for example, Gen X, whenever first, it depends on the brand that you're communicating, right?
Okay.
Whether it's a luxury, it's not a luxury, it's a food industry. It really depends.
Okay.
But first, Generation X, they are more.
Are you talking in Lebanon or in general?
In general.
In general. Okay.
Generation X, they're more into, you know, they still prefer this. Whenever they see the TV ad, this gives them the brand credibility.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, this one of the things Generation have, they still love the radio, you know, the TV, the traditional media, let's say.
Okay.
And then you have the millennials, who, I'm not saying they don't watch TV,
yeah.
but I mean, they're on YouTube, right? So you have the YouTube ads, for example.
Yeah.
And then you have the other generation, which is the Generation Z. They are more on, let's say, not necessarily TikTok. By the way, this is a very big misconception. Okay, I don't know if you're going to target this new generation. I don't want to dance. I don't want to do that. But no, not necessarily, because it's becoming more of an informative platform. People are evolving. So
they even went into e-commerce on
exactly.
Yes.
So yes, to answer to your question, for example, if Generation X is consuming, let's say, one of the main media, TV, okay, and then you have the millennials who, let's say, some people they are going more into they're more focusing more on Instagram, and then Generation Z, they are going into Snapchat, into TikTok.
Yes.
Yes, it differs. However, always it's healthy to have the different media mix. And based on the budget, you adapt. So sometimes you have to go more into Google if something, you know, it's, let's say you want to measure traffic on your website. So it really depends on different objectives. But yes, there is a certain, let's say, sometimes stereotype of the different generational media consumption.
Yeah.
But again, I go back, it's very important, the interest and the values and the perception that they have, so that really the brand, the client, and all the marketeers, they know how to effectively do this media mix and the media strategy.
That's amazing. That's nice. Natalie, I want to thank you for all those tips and behind the scene or backstage info that you gave us, because really generational marketing should be taken into consideration.
That's true.
And I loved our talk today.
Same here. Thank you for having me.
I want to thank everyone for watching and listening to us, and we will see you in the next one.